there, fellow musicians, my name's Hammy. Today I'm going to show you how to score for a trailer.
Good evening, citizens of Neo-Velop City. We are coming to you from Network 9, the only source of truth
in this tutorial, the library I'm using is Soundstorm Volume 2 Cyberpunk. Every musical composition and sound effect in this trailer, ranging from the captivating female vocal that opens the sequence to the sounds of the traditional Japanese shamisen, has been created using only this library. If you want to explore these cool instruments I used in the trailer, click on the link in the description. The DAW I'm using is Reaper, however you can use any software you like as the creation process will be the same. As you can see, the cyberpunk trailer is 1 minute long, but there's a lot going on. But don't worry, let's break it down piece by piece and then you will realize it's actually really easy to make something like this. So I received this trailer along with the dialogue. The creators of the trailer added a few effects for me using the same library, and I decided to keep some but chopped off some effects that I think were redundant. But the full track was mixed and mastered by other engineers. If you want to listen to the mixed version of the trailer, the link is in the description. First, let's watch the trailer without any music, only with the dialogue and the SFX from the creators.
Good evening, citizens of Neo-Velop City. We are coming to you from Network 9, the only source of truth in a city overshadowed by wires and artificial intelligence. As the corporations continue their wars above, the streets are filled with more than just rain, despair, hunger, but also a spark of resistance, whispers of a movement against the chains that bind us. For too long, mega corporations have dictated our fates, mining our data and souls for profit, watching from above while we scrounge for scraps in the digital wasteland below. Never forget, we are the spark in the machine.
When you first receive a trailer, you sort of just watch through the video a couple of times, do some spotting, and find the key moment or the moment that important action takes place. This trailer is very narration-oriented, so I'm breaking it down into different segments which I call scenes. Scene 1 is the opening of the trailer, and in scene 2 we see the female transitions into a cyborg. And then we have scene 3, which talks about the big corporations and the oppression. Then we have scene 4, the narration talks about the inhumane oppressors. In scene 5, we come back to the hero, and then that's the end of the trailer. I tend to start by dropping in some effects here and there.
Good evening, citizens of Neo-Velop.
During the first few times of watching the trailer, I spotted a few other key moments, such as this moment we see the vehicles in the background, and I accidentally discovered this effect resembling the sound of cars.
But also a spark of resistance.
Next, I spotted this moment where the voiceover talks about the evil corporations. Then I thought of adding some sound effects resembling a prison door opening or the sound of a cage, as the trailer talks about how humans are oppressed by the corporations. So I used this instrument called Feathers and another instrument called System Malfunction Kit, the system that created by AI and robots. Immediately after, we see a transition to the civilian world. Again, I used the feather as a transition effect. Then later at this very moment where we see the flame in the frame. And finally, in the end, where the trailer cuts to black. The reason for grouping these instruments is not just because I like the vibrant neon cyberpunk colors. Well, for sure the colors fit into the theme. Now, color blindness test. The yellow group is for all the synthesizers and risers. The orange is for all the mechanical sounds of the objects. A lot of them are panned to the right or left side. The magenta is for lower frequency effects, including downers, booms, and punches. Red is for basses. Skin color is for breaths and robot voices. Light green is for all the hits and percussion. Bright purple is for soundscapes. And at the bottom, we have the shamisen and the kick group. After the initial spotting, we can now come back to the beginning of the trailer. We hear these camera glitches, so this message tells us that we're looking at the whole picture through the perspective of a camera, with the voiceover of a robot. It feels as if it's a propaganda for a dystopic society. Notice that we have a transition from scene 1 to scene 2. So I used a stack of several risers and transitioning effects. Right when we enter the city shot, we have this mechanical sound from the instrument, computer glitches and blips. This is one of my favorite instruments. You can imagine how many computers the engineers broke in order to record these sounds. So the risers and the synthesizers from the transitioning moment pretty much done their job. Again, we have a bunch of mechanical sounds. And sound effects from this group. At the moment when we see some civilization on the street, we have a robot speaking something. Well, I guess robots can become part of the civilization in the future. Down here I added some hits. And one from soundscapes representing the flying machines. At the bottom, we have the kick group. I have the sound saved on my drive for a long time. Basically, whenever I need to add some kicks in my music, I just drag and drop the sound into my project.
Good evening, citizens of Neo-Veloc City. We are coming to you from the only source of truth in a city overshadowed by wires and artificial intelligence.
Now the picture starts to show some reality of how things look bad in this society. We use the siren, which gives a feeling of drowsiness and fear. Down here we've talked about these two instruments earlier, so I'm not going to repeat. Now the voiceover is talking about how people are getting starved and despairing, so we want to keep this section not so dynamic as opposed to the previous scene. This cyberpunk I added here is very interesting. As the camera tilts down, we want to have this downer-like sound effect. Obviously, we don't want a riser. And this lower sucker punch here resembles this loathsome factory sound, together with these hydraulic hits. It makes you feel the working environment isn't pleasant. Let's listen to this passage I created with shamisen. The scale used in this passage is Sakura pentatonic scale. It goes like this: D, E flat, G, A, B flat, and then D. Please remember, your goal isn't to compose the best Japanese music. Your goal is to use this ethnic instrument as an embellishment. On the first beat, I'm adding some drums to accompany the shamisen. Scene 4 is very short. We will have the drone keep playing. Remember this low sucker punch for the animal shot. On the top, we have another siren. That's pretty much about scene 4.
Mega corporations have dictated our fates, knowing our data and souls for profit.
Here I have the electric bass play the same line as bass 13 earlier, but with much faster speed. Sometimes I like to work with stems. I rendered the electric bass and put it down here. It also doubles the bass 13. There's also a volume increase, and I've added delay in the end for the bass 13. I rendered several drums from the instrument fragments hits 3. The reason for putting each drum on a different track is that I want to process the drum sound individually. If you'd like to hear more samples from this library such as the drums, I put a link in the description to the library walkthrough video where they demonstrate different types of instruments from this library. So other than the basses and the drums pushing everything to a climax, of course we won't miss the risers. That's not enough yet, we need to add more effects. I just want to give it a more punchy ending when it cuts to black suddenly.
Never forget, we are the spark in the machine.
As we hear the robot is saying, "Where's the spark in the machines?" So I guess we are going to add a machine sound. How about the robot hits?
In the machine.
That's so much better. In the end, we don't want the music to hang for too long. It would be very embarrassing to hear the music lasting too long while the screen is blank. So we're going to cut the music early. On the top, we have this camera glitchy effects and computer glitches, which I mentioned early at the beginning of the tutorial. These effects make this moment sound like as if the camera shuts down or this AI propaganda video gets shut down. So we hear these effects in the end, which is a very interesting way to end the music.
Watching from above while we scrounge for scraps in the digital wasteland below. Never forget, we are the spark in the machine.
Thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you've learned a lot and ready to create your own cyberpunk trailer music.